Hello, everybody. It's 6 p.m. today, and welcome to this webinars organized by Aritha. So we have been having a few webinars in the areas of technology and also in the areas of agile program management. And so these seminars are basically aimed towards knowledge sharing from people who have been in the industry. So and then worked on a few things uh, uh, and such. So today we have an interesting topic here on the space of image analytics. So I will take a second to introduce the panelists today, Prithvi Raj. And before that, a quick intro about what Aritha has been doing. So Aritha is a decade-old firm, and then we started off as an agile consulting firm, and now we have also ventured into the areas of project development, and we do product development from ideas on a napkin to product in the hands of the users. Now, this time around, we have chosen this topic of image analytics. A couple of webinars ago, we had this session on SCM and AI, wherein we spoke a bit about the use cases of AI in the field of supply chain management, wherein we had come across a couple of use cases. I will very quickly go through that. And then, so this webinar actually happens to be a nice sequel to what we discussed in the previous one there. So please welcome, I welcome Prithvi to this webinar. Prithvi and I go a long way back. We almost started our careers together, and since then, so Prithvi has worked on multiple technology areas. So he started off with the Java J2E, and then he went into Android, and he's one of the first few people whom I know who started off working with big data, Spark, Hadoop, and that stack of data analytics. And then now Prithvi works as a senior data scientist, working on a lot of business-driven use cases in the field of AI ML. And image analytics happens to be one of the core areas that Prithvi has recently worked on. So in this webinar, Prithvi is going to bring in his experience of what kind of image analytics fit in the business world. He's going to take us through a couple of things. So the previous time when we discussed about SCM and AI, so we had a couple of use cases wherein, so Pawan was the speaker there, and on our webpage you can also see the recording of the SCM and the AI. So Pawan had brought up use cases wherein uh, a truck which wants to enter into a warehouse get identified through cameras wherein either the facial identification happens or the number plate identification happens. So at that time, we had also discussed about extraction and deriving meaning out of image analysis there. Quite a specialized area in the field of AI and ML. So today we will go a little deeper into it in terms of what does it mean to have image analytics and need to cater to a business workflow in terms of how the business views it, and then what kind of use cases the business basically looks into. Many of the proponents of AI ML come up with a lot more glamorous use cases of what an image analytics can do, and all that are true. But very core to that is how this fits into the business and how business can look into it, and what kind of, so that's where a clash between academics and the business also happens in terms of accuracy, in terms of usefulness of what we do. And I think Prithvi today will also bring out a couple of things on that. And Prithvi, over to you. I am looking to learn from your experience in this webinar. Welcome to this webinar, Prithvi.
Yeah, thanks, Aditya. Thanks for you and Arita for giving me an opportunity to address this wonderful group of technical people and share my experiences basically in the field of image analytics currently what I'm doing. So image analytics field as such, it is very vast. So to start with very fundamental concept of image analytics and a definition of image analytics to start with, as Aditya was mentioning. So image analytics, the use cases and all are applications of computer vision, right? So computer vision is again a branch of artificial intelligence, wherein it is trying to replicate the capabilities of human vision, in the sense like what are you are trying to do and analyze with your human eyes. So the computer is trying to replicate those capabilities using machine learning techniques, machine learning algorithms, image analytics algorithms and all, right? So as Aditya was mentioning rightly, so many use cases, right? So they speak a lot, and there is even hype there, right? As he was rightly pointing out, the clashes between the research academics and what we see in our industry use cases, the clashes and all, right? So when you take up the applications of image analytics, basically we see as simple as OCR to as complex as analyzing the microseismic images, basically to identify the earthquake when it is going to happen, the severity of the earthquake, giving the notification when the earthquake will happen, all that predictive analytics based on the microseismic image. So today, what we are trying to understand here, or what I'm going to talk about, is a very simple use case of OCR, wherein the industry use case in which many of the industries basically want to extract the information present in, maybe scanned images, embedded text in some PDFs, all those things, which makes a lot of uh, value, which gives them a lot of value to their application. Basically, the text. So in today's webinar, I'm going to take one simple example of analyzing the scanned images. Okay, let me take to the next slide. Okay, so as I was mentioning, today's business use case, what I'm going to present is all about extracting some key fields out of, the Word documents, maybe something like your purchase orders, or something like your contracts, or something like your valve specification documents, engineering drawing, where they have the metadata information in the PDF. So there are many key information present in these documents in the form of PDF, which is very much required for the industries or the business to extract those information, create a database out of it, and use that data in their end applications, like for their B2C applications, business to consumer. To give you a simple example, like for example, business may be interested in knowing the supplier name, vendor name, right? All that information to continue their further business. And another thing, like many organizations and many companies, as Aditya was mentioning in the supply chain management use cases in last webinar, whatever you have seen, many such companies, they produce a lot of products, right? And you also have, if you take a manufacturing industry for that matter, so they produce a lot of products and they need a lot of parts to be produced. And some companies, they have the engineering diagram of those mechanical parts, the metadata in that, the drawing, especially the length, the pressure information, if you take something, some valves and all, because I am talking about a use case wherein the energy companies, where they manufacture the control valves, right? So the informations, I personally worked on such kind of use cases, wherein the energy companies, they produce the control valves, and they have the engineering drawings of these control valves, and the metadata related to these control valves, how they operate, they're all embedded in this PDF document. So what the business interest is to extract these information out of these PDF documents, and then make a database and use that database in their downstream application, right? Any question here? Okay.
Right now, Prithvi, I don't have any questions coming in, but others, please feel free to raise a question and I will bring it up in the right time for Prithvi. Whenever there is a break in the flow, I will bring that topic up at relevant times. So yeah, so please raise those questions in the Q&A and I'll be able to present it.
Thank you, Aditya. Okay, so two simple use cases I'm planning to share here. So one is on the left side, you are seeing the invoice, right? So for example, in the business world, so there will be exchange of the contracts, these document purchase orders and all, right? So earlier days, even when that during that period of contract signing, before things get started, maybe you send a one purchase order that needs a modification again, then again the other side, the counterpart will make those changes again, he will send, right? And that kind of cycle happens. So industry thought of automizing this. Okay, today we see a lot of automation frameworks like UiPath, Automation Anywhere, many such products wherein this entire manual process of this purchase order transaction has been automized, right? So in that case, one thing would be many image analytics use cases. What I could see there, business what it could see is matching your signature, right? Whether it has been signed from the right authority or not. Another thing is maybe extracting the context out of the the purchase order, what sense it makes to them and all. That is what we call as text extraction and text comprehensions. So when you send these purchase order and contract agreements, so it will be like 40-50 pages, right? So when you send it to an organization or when you send it to a vendor, and for them, whole 40 pages may not be of interest. Like for example, if I am a finance team, so I'll be interested in knowing only the financial information present in that document, maybe like how much of capex or operational expenses this contract involves and all. And for legal team, it is something like, okay, what confidentiality, the mutual understanding agreement, right, non-disclosure things, all those things is of important to them. And when it comes to HR, so they may be related, they may be interested in something different in that document. So what the current challenge is, so now anyone, like for example, if I'm from a finance team, I have to go through and I have to search for where exactly the information pertaining to my function is there. So we have a product wherein these days, instead of going through all the 40 pages, I can develop a application, computer vision application or image analytics application, basically go and extract that relevant information, scanning through the PDF. And another one is like identifying whether the signature is fake or not. So if the signature and if these terms and conditions are valid, so then automatically it will go to the next stage. Suppose in the business, if there are multiple stages to get the contract signed, starting from the initial stages to the final stage of approval, there will be many cycles happening here and to and fro. So that is one case. So wherein this application of image analytics is of great help. And the second one is like as I was mentioning, the part specification, or like as I said, the control specification, wherein the information about that part is mentioned in the PDF. Suppose if you look at this contents of the control valve, so here you have all the information about the valve, like for example, type, size, body material. So these are all some of the key information which the business is interested to extract and then convert it into a structured data. Maybe the business is interested to store it as a in some database, and with that use that database to in their downstream applications, in their value management application or B2C applications, wherein the customer wants to know the information about the valves and all when it comes to maintenance and things like that. Okay, so currently in many organizations, these things are manual, in the sense they take this PDF, they finally go and copy that particular metadata field and put it in an Excel, and then from Excel to database transition and all. So in my organization also, so the people, businesses were doing this kind of activity. So in a huge organization, we see a lot of, the amount of this kind of documents is humongous, maybe in terms of millions, right? So the business approached us, the data science team, and they wanted us to, give a, the machine learning solution, AI based solution to the current task, what they were doing manually. So initially when they came up, so they were interested in some 5-6 fields. Okay, they just wanted to try out, okay, whether the solution would work or not. So the problem statement that was given to the data science team was extracting the key information, some 5 or 6 information, like for example, the supplier name, the customer name, all these some informations, and give them a structured data, right? So initially when it was given, so first time it was all a PDF document. So we cannot straight away jump into the machine learning solution, right? So we can just see whether that can be automated using without machine learning. So our first approach was using extracting this information using the regular expressions without touching the machine learning part. We just tried out whether that can be achieved without any machine learning or AI algorithms, right? So what we tried was there were many PDF mining libraries were available. Given the PDF document, you can use these PDF miner libraries to mine that data, convert that data into the text, and using the regular expression, extract the relevant information. That was simple. So we did that as a part of POC, and the business was happy. At least we minimize the manual efforts of keying into the Excel, straight away extracting this information into the Excel and putting into the database. So later, given the number of documents and the number of fields, so once they see the value in extracting the 5 fields using just the automated approach using the PDF mining libraries and all, they came up with 10 more fields, 20 more fields, and the number of the documents, humongous, millions of documents. And again, the type of the PDFs, right? So maybe you can see one format here. So this way, so we had each supplier, each customer, each vendor, they had different formats, their own format. So we have to extract those information, information which is relevant for the business out of the different formats of these templates. So wherein our initial solution of just using the regular expression was not sufficient.
Okay. So Prithvi, at this point, I think this question makes sense at this point. So yeah, there is a question from Shilpa basically, which says, I'll split this into multiple things. Will you be able to extract information from PDF invoices which are handwritten or scanned copies? So yes, we can. So handwritten, again, like a good question, Shilpa. So handwritten is a separate part. So the current OCR what we have used is not having extracting the handwritten capabilities. So because you have raised this question, I'll take this opportunity to answer your question. So currently we have a solution, AI based solution. There's a product from AWS called A2I. Okay, this product is capable of extracting the handwritten information from your PDF document. Like for example, the sign in the PDF, right? So when you want to validate the signature and all, so that's the handwritten. And then the current OCR library what I have used in one of the projects is not capable to do that functionality. So AWS has a product which can do that. And the second question, when you have a scanned PDF, correct. So directly you can use PDF miner to convert that into text and then use some regular expression to extract the relevant information out of the converted from the converted text document. That is one approach. The second thing is wherein when you have a PDF document scanned, the next approach is use image analytics. That is what the
the problem we are going to discuss today. So in that case, you convert that into image, you convert the PDF into image, okay, and then do image analytics to extract the information.
Yep, okay, I think that was the next question, next part of the question. So how challenging it is, and have you used any pre-processing techniques? I think throughout this webinar, I think we will touch upon those aspects.
Yes. I'll touch upon that.
Thanks, Prithvi.
Welcome, Aditya. Yeah. So basically, yeah, I think this slide would answer the question what Shilpa had asked, right? See, we have the scanned documents, we have the clear documents wherein it is not just clear in the sense. So the direct documents, the digital documents, some printed documents, right? So these we have at one end. So what we are going to, how we are going to extract the information out of these information. So that is the extraction pipeline, what I have shown here. So first thing is, like, as I said, one approach we followed was the regular expression, and later understanding the complexity and the scale of the documents we have, we went ahead and thought of applying the machine learning approach. It's a deep learning solution we implemented. That is the text detection part. Basically, as I said, the image analytics, it's an object detection now. So in our use case, object is the text what we want. So that is the first, the object, the text detection part, wherein we are applying the deep learning technique. And the next is text recognition. Once you detected that particular key or particular text, then extracting that out of that PDF, that is the extraction mechanism, wherein we are using the PyTesseract, which is a open source library for extracting that. And finally, we are also had a case of segmenting the PDF pages. So basically, you have a multi-page document. Sometimes the business wanted even to split that into individual pages. So that is the page segmentation part, which we did. Okay, so the process is here. So once we have that, the PDFs, scanned PDFs, the first step is do some pre-processing, as you said. During the scan, right, the quality of the scanning may not be good. There you might see some distortion. The page may be rotated to, it is not perfectly aligned, right? You could see some distortions in the letters and all. So such things, sometimes your OCR may not may be able to identify or extract such fields. So that is the limitation of the open source PyTesseract OCR tool, what we have used. So if you want to achieve, or if you want to get that 100% accuracy or in a good accuracy, so then there are better tools which are expensive, right? As I said, the Amazon has some tools called Textract, which basically does the same thing whatever we have done here using the open source tool. But when you use that, your result would be more accurate, and at the same time, it is expensive. It's always a trade-off between the cost and the performance, right? And the second thing, as I said, it has a challenge of identifying or extracting the handwritten characters, which is again commercial tools are available, which are a bit expensive, which could serve your purpose. So here, how we start. So once we have that scanned document, the first thing is we converted that into image. Why? Basically to employ or to apply our image analytics deep learning techniques. So that should be in the image format. So we converted into JPEG or another image format, PNG format, and we also compared the the results, having the PDF in the JPEG format and the PNG format, and we found that the accuracy or the quality or what we see in the JPEG was better than the PNG. So we went ahead and we converted initially the scanned PDF into JPEG. So that's the first part, right? So before that, before we converted that, we did all this pre-processing. So if the quality of the the scanned PDF was not good. If there was a orientation, 40-degree orientation, 50-degree orientation. So there we used this OpenCV library. So again, OpenCV, it is not a machine learning solution. So we have a OpenCV. It's basically an image analysis library, basically used to play around the images to extract or to make a blur or change the effects of the image, all these things. So this particular thing is all about text extraction, but OpenCV basically it is developed basically to do face detection and the part detection, all such kind of applications. So we have a lot of APIs where we leverage those APIs to play around this text PDFs also. So that was the pre-processing we did, changing the orientation, giving the better effect, removing the distortion, removing the noise, all those things, all that pre-processing was done. So then once that is done, we converted that image into, the scanned PDF into the image. So once we had that image, what we did was, you are interested, like, let me go to the previous, like for example, let us say from this valve specification documents, I'm interested in some 10, 15 fields. Like for example, let us say I have this packing material, PTFE, type of the bonnet, bolted, right? And then pipeline size and the schedule, this information. So basically we wanted to box these key value pair. For example, pipeline size and schedule, it is the key, and the value for this is this 14 and SCH 20 in and out, something like that. And the type, this is the key, and butterfly is the value. So this is what the business is interested. So first thing was regular expression, right? And the second thing now, the way we are approaching is the deep learning approach. So here, first, so when it comes to the machine learning, first thing is we have to train our model. So whatever the data we have, we split that into training data and the test data. So we build our model using the training data. So to train the model, we need the training data. So the next step is to prepare the training data, right? So this key value has to be identified. So there is a tool called Label IMG, which we use. It's a freeware. Okay. So basically what it does, using that tool, we can box around the object or the field of interest, what we are looking for. Like for example, that will give you the coordinate basically. Okay. In this template, for example, we had close to 50, 60 templates. This is one template like that. Okay. In our business, we had like 50, 60 templates. We took the samples of each that 50, 60 template for training our model. So using that Label IMG tool, we initially marked that fields of interest using that.
Prithvi, sorry to interrupt. There is one more question about labeling. So here the question says, how exhaustive was the labeling activity for the data? Any public repository with labeled reports was did you use any public repository was the question.
What do you mean by public repository?
So no, maybe many a times, right? So we get all labeled data as public repository, and was it used to train, or did you create the?
We created here. See, that public repository labeling and all is of no use, right? So it is very domain specific, right? And it is confidential data. So it is not the public repository data. We created this. Of course, this was a bit exhaustive, right? As I said, we had close to 50, 60 templates like this. First thing is manually we have to go and mark that label of interest.
I think that was what was question. There can be a follow-up question also on this.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly. So initially for 5, 6, each template we collected, so 5 to 6 PDFs. We went ahead and using that tool, we manually marked that. So, and the output of that tool, what it gives us is an XML or a JSON. Basically, it gives you the coordinates of your key value. Okay, like for example, this top pipeline size, top leftmost corner and the bottom rightmost corner coordinates it will give. Okay, 4 coordinates it will give. And as somebody pointed out rightly, how exhaustive it was exhaustive. So what we did was, out of that 5, Then what we did, we automated it. We wrote again a simple Python script automating this process. So once we have that, feeding that, because one template we see the same number of at the same location, right? If you have a 5-6 samples of the same template, so all this, for example, this PDF what I'm showing, so we take another 6 or 7 to train our model, right? So once we have marked for this, we use this data to automatically mark or put the square box around the rest of the samples using our Python script. We hard coded the the coordinate instead of taking each sample again of a particular template, taking that in the tool, putting the box around the fields and all. We automated that process. Is that fine?
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah. If a follow-up question comes, I will prompt you.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So once we did that, so this is how we prepared our training data for our deep learning model. Okay. So we had close to I think 1.2 million documents totally. Like out of this 50-60 templates what we had, the number of documents we processed for the extraction of the the key information was close to 1.2 or 1.3 million. So even to train the model, the laptops what we were using, the computing and storage was not sufficient. So we definitely went ahead and we trained our model on the GPU. Okay, and when it comes to the deep learning model, am I going too technical, Aditya? Deep into the technical? Is that fine?
No, Prithvi, yeah, that's fine. Please.
Okay, yeah. So basically, once we have this training data ready, then we used a deep neural network, the technique called, there is a pre-trained model. Okay, that is called RCNN, Regional Proposal Convolution Neural Network, which is a technique of deep learning. Basically, what it does is it will capture, like it will go and mark the square box what we are doing manually on your test data. Like using the label IMG tool, we manually went ahead and we put the square box around the key value pairs we interested in. Now we are giving this to the pre-trained model, regional proposal convolution neural network. So once we train, it's already trained. So the pre-trained model means somebody has already done this kind of work, taking the different kind of PDFs. So based on that, they have trained the model. Now we did not build the model from the scratch. Already it was there for us. So only the input to the model was different. What is the input here? The input to the model was our training data, basically the PDF data of the wall, that PDF scanned image, whatever we had. So we fed that into the model, pre-trained model. And what the output was? The output was again a JPEG with the square box around the key value fields which we are interested. That is the output. So that is the first phase of the image analytics that we did. So the first phase is, this is called the text detection. So if you look here, the text detection, that is the text detection part. So we trained our model, we labeled the data, we created our training data, then give it to the deep learning model for detecting the position of the key fields in 50-60 formats what we had. So basically on our laptop with 16 GB RAM, so the training was taking around 3 to 4 days, right? On the GPU, just to give you a comparison, it took like 4 to 5 hours. Again, when it goes to deep learning, we have to play around lot of hyperparameters. Okay, maybe the number of steps we iterate, it all comes in the neural network area, like how many iterations you have to do, how to tune some particular parameters, okay, and all that. So with all that, we were able to train our model for detecting the object, detecting the text that we are interested in. That is the first phase. So, and the next phase is extracting it, where we used the PyTesseract OCR library. Okay, so once the input to the Tesseract library is your marked PDF image. Okay, so once you fed that image to the PyTesseract, so these are the scanned documents, scanned valve documents with the square box around the key value fields which we were interested. So once it fed to that, what it will do, it will apply the OCR technology, and it has extracted the text out of it, and it is put into the text file. Or even if you want that to be put into the CSV or in the Excel, you can do that. So we did putting that into Excel, and from there that was the output for us. So once we had that data collected in the Excel, that was given to the business, and business put into the database and used by their downstream applications. This was the case. Like, okay, as I said, we had humongous amount of the documents, so all were put in a folder in the cloud. So from there we had our model running in the cloud. So the documents were taken, each document was processed. The first phase was the detection, and the second phase was the extraction, and finally it was put in the Excel sheet. Any questions here, Aditya?
No, not at this moment.
Yeah, so this is a simple flow, like in the OCR how it works. So this is what, once we have that labeled image, it is given to the preprocessor. Again, this is the framework, the PyTesseract internally. Even after that input image, whatever we get, the preprocessor may include like this kind of orientation, or improving the clarity. Such some predefined algorithms are there. It will go to that preprocessor before getting into the engine. Even after coming from the engine also, PyTesseract library itself will do some post processing, and then it will extract the data and give it to us. It's a simple flow.
So this all OCR flow, what is the time that it takes? Can this be done in real time extraction, or was it always done in batch?
So in our case, it is batch, because like we had a lot of documents, and the size of the different templates also, right? So we built the batch processing solution. Even it can be done in the real time, but real time, like as I said, the open source OCR what we used will be of not much effective. It is a time consuming. So there are better commercial tools than the open source OCR, like Tesseract, which can be used for real time.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so that's what. So as I mentioned earlier, the business benefits were, so these kind of this entire activities they were doing manually, going to the PDF, extracting, selecting, putting into the Excel, which was really like unproductive. So a lot of manual effort was going there. So what we with this approach, they were able to see a significant time utilization, and even the quality, and also the performance, everything, right? Even in the when they are copying and when they were editing, there were chances for typo and all. With this machine and machine involvement, machine learning capabilities, and OCR capabilities, all such errors were reduced, and it was a it was a great value to the business. So they can directly use whatever the value extracted into the downstream application, B2C, B2B, and all. Again, as we have used the open source OCR tool here, the accuracy, what the business was expecting and what the accuracy we provided, there was a marginal difference, because as I said, we use the open source PyTesseract OCR tool to extract the text. But the detection part was 95%, 96% accurate, where we use the deep learning, right? So that was giving very good result. That was awesome result. But the text detection part, the second phase, was not up to the mark what the business was expecting because of its own limitations in the OCR tool. One is like there's a specific in that OCR what we have in the open source. There is a specific limitation on the font and the size of the character also. If it is below that, it may not be able to detect it properly. In such cases, there are fair chances of detecting 5 as yes, yes as 5. That way, finally, the output what we got out of the text detection using this open source OCR was around 60%, 65%. Again, on that, we did some post processing to change them manually. That was there was no other option for us, so we automated that. Yeah, so that was our solution, the homegrown solution what we had. This is the one, right? Object detection using the deep learning, and then object extraction using the OCR. Okay.
So there is a question here about do you have any mechanism to retrain the model or active learning?
Come again, Aditya, sorry.
Do you have any mechanism to retrain the model or active learning?
Retrain the model, what is meant by active? What is it, active?
Active learning was the question. So yeah, if I can take this, maybe is this leaning towards how do you figure out, how do you manage the machine learning models in terms of how do you figure out the drift of a model and then figure out the right time to retrain the model? So if that is the case, yes, in the space of ML, especially in ML ops, there have been many ways in which you can put in checks about what is the best time to determine when to retrain your model. Many of the domains people would have intuitively figured out that if it's a review system, you want to do some kind of a sentiment analysis, then maybe you want every week retrain. If it is some user behavior, maybe once a quarter retrain is enough. So that way many businesses would have figured out when is the right time to retrain. But then it is also possible to bring in automated ML ops into picture, figure out the drift of the model, and then replace the model with a retrained model. So at that point too, whether the second model coming in is better than the first one, or was the first one better? So there are ways in which we can do it. A few parts of it have been automated, but largely it has been mostly on the desks of analysts where it happens currently. Prithvi, you can add to that.
Yes, got it. Now I got the intent of the question, Aditya. So basically the question is, so how performant was your model, right? So we have used the TensorFlow here. Okay, so in the TensorFlow you can see there is already an interface, okay, with the TensorFlow, wherein when you are training your model, as I said, the number of iterations you do, there we can see the performance metrics, basically the loss, right? The loss, precision, whatever we decided upon to measure the performance of our model. You can literally see the percentage varying, reaching your model, object detection model, reaching the accuracy of 94%, 95%, starting from 40%, 50% and all. So even the framework, the TensorFlow framework has the capability to stop your the execution of training when you are happy with the results at that point of time. Suppose you have initially configured, like as I said, it is all a pre-trained model. So there are a lot of parameters associated with the model. One is the number of iterations. You may say, like we call in the machine learning world is it as epochs. So initially you might have set it to, let us say 40,000, 50,000 iterations. So it all the the architecture of the convolution neural network, what we say basically to give you a very high level definition. And basically you will be calculating the weights, the probability, okay, whether the what is the probability of this character being yes, what is the probability of this character being a. So these are the things that internally happens, and the For that, the weight calculation happens, and there's a lot of loop back events happening and all. So this is the iteration thing. This is one of the parameters in the deep learning world. So we said that, okay, you do some 50,000 iterations like that. So initially it is set, and the TensorFlow framework has a UI showing you the performance. So once you see that after 40,000 steps, if you see that your accuracy is reaching around 95, 96, if you are happy with that, you can stop that. Okay, that is one thing. And the second thing, what you're telling is retraining the model, right? Like for example, what if my 61th template comes, right? In that case, I obviously have to retrain my model. It depends on your use case, right? In my case, my model is currently capable of identifying or detecting the 50 templates what I have in my hand now. Suppose tomorrow the business comes with another 25 templates, different template, then I have to retrain my model. So that was the use case for us. So initially we spent a lot of time in collecting all the possible formats what we had across the organization, and then we trained our model. Did I answer that question, Aditya? Hello?
Sorry, yeah. So there is also one more question in terms of what was the sample size for each template for training?
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned something around 1.2 million. I think that was the whole
Correct.
size of detection, but here it's talking about the sample size for the training.
Yeah, sample size for the training was to label. We took around 50 samples from each template. So we had around 50 to 60 templates. Okay, so 50 into 50, 50 into 60. So 3,000 documents we initially fed to our label IMG image, and we created that training data, right? Labeled data, right? And then we use that to train the remaining documents, and to train our model close to 4,000, 5,000, and then rest we took it for the testing.
Okay, thanks. And just a quick time check, Prithvi. We have around 12 minutes left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Aditya. So as I said, so that was our, kind of very basic solution. So what we gave, even I say basic, but we achieved a very good result in terms of the text detection. That was a huge value addition to the business. So with that, many business units came and approached us, the data science team, coming up with, extracting the GSTIN number for the business, extracting the vendor information, customer information, many things such as because of this one use case. Similarly, we get close to 5-6 use cases wherein our ingrown solution can be applied directly. So as I said, another thing is one is the solution we developed. Second thing is leveraging the commercial tools already available. If somebody is ready to sponsor that, so we have a solution in the AWS stack also, wherein the same thing. Like for example, if you look at this architecture, this AWS tech stack is similar to what the deep learning technique we developed in-house, right? And that is doing all the extraction. And before that, we are doing the label using the label image tool. We detected the text and all, right? So there we have something Lambda functions written to detect the text, and then feeding into this Amazon text track, right? And then sending the notification once the document labeling is done, extraction is done and all. So basically, initially, we will be putting all the documents in the S3 bucket, and from the S3 bucket, in the batch processing mode, each document is taken out and then processed, and the result is put into some database or the flat file, whatever the business is interested in. Okay, here even this extract is also not having the ability to recognize the handwritten. So Amazon has developed a separate tool to called A2I, as I mentioned in the beginning of the call, to identify the handwritten characters. Yeah. So this I already covered, like what is OpenCV, right? The one which we have.
Sorry, before you go to the slide, there's one more question in terms of, you mentioned about achieving 95% accuracy. Was the accuracy achieved on the training data set or the validation data set?
So that's on the validation, first validation data set.
Okay, thanks.
That especially the deep learning algorithm what we have used, which is called region proposal convolution neural network, a pre-trained model that gave an accuracy of 95% on validation data set.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah. So this is just kind of information about what OpenCV, where and all it is used. That's it. That's a slide is pretty much straightforward. There's nothing special here. Yeah. So this again, like as I said, this just give you an idea like what we did. OCR software, even commercially also, many OCR tools are available like OCR Plus, Ocular, Swift OCR. This Swift OCR claims that they are better than the Tesseract. Yeah, so this gives you a, like I was telling you, right? Once you have an image, how that is converted that into text, and then how we can extract using the regular expression. This is how it does. Basically, you have this some bill kind of thing, let us say, which is in the PDF format. Okay, you will scan it and you'll convert it into image, right? Or if it is just a PDF thing, then you use the PDF libraries. There are PDF miner libraries. It will just scan through the contents of the PDFs and it will convert it into the text, like you can see in here on the right hand side. It is extracted into a text format, right? So basically the PDF miner was able to identify the the gaps here, this line, removing these lines, and all those what you call knowledge has gone in there. Okay, so it gives you the raw text out extracted out of this. You can also see here some noise coming here. Can you see here? Which is not there in your original document. Okay, so in post processing we may have to remove these kind of things, or if we use the machine learning approach, then you have to go and box around this key value pair, right, and use OCR later. To first you label your data, train your deep learning model, then put your new document, extract, and then detect and then give it to the OCR. Yeah. So as I was discussing the limitations, these are some of the limitations. It is not capable, your PyTesseract open source OCR is not capable of recognizing the handwritten characters. And also if your quality of the scan is very bad, then the result would be, will not be good. Okay, and also a lot of pre-processing sometimes you may have to do. Suppose if the image has a complex background, right, and then in such cases your OCR may not work as you expect. So these are some of the challenges the the present OCR has. So even now, even in that tool, they are putting even this deep learning techniques. They're coming up with LSTM being embedded there, and even some image analytic libraries is something called YOLO. You look only once, and RCNN, what I spoke of, all those things. They are bringing in those capabilities in their later versions of PyTesseract OCR. The product is maturing. Yeah, and this is some of the references to for the attendees to just get in and know something related to image analytics and OCR.
Yeah, so Prithvi, if somebody has to start off doing image analytics, so what should be the learning path?
Learning path, Aditya, as I said, it depends on use case to use case, right? It is nothing that there is one standard procedure. If you follow this, you can address any image analytics use case. It's not like that, right? For example, if it's going to be a face detection, then the approach, whatever I have taken here may not work. So for images, there is a separate thing, and for kind of images with text, there is a different process. Basically, you should understand the use case, and what you should know basically is if you are solving it as a data science use case or image analytics use case, you should have the basic understanding of machine learning terminologies, machine learning world. So even in image, like it is image detection, image classification, all those things will come. What is your objective? Whether you want to extract something, or whether you want to classify the images, or you want to identify the images in the given picture. Like for example, if I have a picture with a dog and a cat, right? So in that case, sometimes you just want to detect the cat and the dog separately, right? And you have to tag it, right? So that is a different use case. And sometimes you may have to classify the two images. Then the approach is different. In our case, like for example, here it was detecting the text. This is a different use case. So basically, one should have the basic understanding of machine learning algorithms, what they are going to apply in the image analysis. If they are just going with the OCR, understanding the capabilities of OCR. Again, OCR, it is again a character recognition, right? So again, when it comes to the character recognition, so there is a way machine learning algorithms to detect the characters, right? As I said, one of the techniques is LSTM, right? Long short-term memory. So there are several algorithms like that. So one should have a basic understanding how these machine algorithm works. If it is a deep learning, how convolution neural networks works. Some general knowledge they should have, and those algorithms are specific to use case.
Yep. Valid point there. Image analytics is a huge world by itself. So depending on the direction that one has to take, they will have to stitch together multiple different libraries, and before that have a basic, as you rightly put, basic understanding of what a machine learning algorithm does, and will that be rightly suited, and all that. Yes. There is one more question. Will it read watermarks in an image? I'm guessing if OCR or OpenCV, if it reads watermark in an image.
Yes, right. We had some PDFs with the watermark in that, so we removed that. So there is a way to, using the OpenCV libraries, that all comes as a part of pre-processing. Yes, there is a capability in OpenCV to remove the watermark.
Oh, okay.
We had that in our samples.
Okay, good. Thanks. I think that answers that. Okay, hopefully I'm just checking again. Hopefully I'm not missing a question that has come in. Okay, so I'm good there.
Okay, if no more question, thank all participants for taking their time out and making for this webinar. Thank you very much. And also I thank Aditya and Arita for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge and experience today.
Yes, yeah, thanks a lot, Prithvi, for your time here. It was interesting to know how it might seem as simple as, okay, I want to extract some value, but how that was being used across 1.2 to 1.5 million documents, and then each different parts of documents meaning different things to different verticals in a company. And yeah, so thanks a lot for bringing that perspective in. A fairly technical discussion. And I also thank the audience here for being interactive and for asking the questions. And looking at the questions, I'm sure many of them have already started off their journey on image analytics or experimenting with those image analytics. So thanks a lot for that contribution to this webinar. Once again, I think we are right on target with respect to time there. So it's 7 p.m. now. So thanks a lot. Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks, Prithvi.
Thanks, Aditya. Thanks, one and all.